Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Elson for Catholic Newsbreak. Here's what's happening this week in the news. We begin from the Vatican. The Vatican has announced that Pope Benedict XVI has established a U.S. Ordinariate for former Anglicans who wish to become Catholics. The new Ordinariate has been in the works since September of 2010 when the Vatican Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith asked Cardinal Donald Wuerl of Washington to be its delegate for the implementation of Anglicanorum Coetibus in the United States. Anglicanorum Coetibus was the apostolic provision established by Pope Benedict in 2009. This new U.S. Ordinariate is the second such jurisdiction. The first was the personal Ordinariate of Our Lady of Walsingham, which was created for England and Wales. Other Ordinariates are being considered in Canada and Australia. With the establishment of the Ordinariate, the Pope also announced that it will be led by Father Jeffrey Steenson, the former Episcopal Bishop of the Rio Grande, who was ordained a Catholic priest of the Archdiocese of Santa Fe, New Mexico, in February of 2009. The personal Ordinariate of the Chair of St. Peter, which is similar to a diocese in function but national in scope, will be based at a parish in Houston. More than 100 former Anglican priests have applied to become Catholic priests in the Ordinariate, and 1,400 individuals from 22 communities have expressed interest in joining. The parishes and communities accepted into the Ordinariate will be fully Catholic, but retain elements of their Anglican heritage and traditions, particularly in the liturgy. In news now from around the world, 2011 will be remembered for the many natural disasters that took place around the globe. Catholic News Service takes a look back over this past year at the tragedies that struck and the importance of the work of Catholic agencies that have provided help in devastated areas.
Earthquakes, floods, droughts, and hurricanes. 2011 saw its share of natural disasters that left people in dire straits, church officials scrambling to help, and Catholics worldwide offering prayers and financial support. The effects will be felt for years to come. In March, northeastern Japan was hit with a triple whammy: a magnitude 9 earthquake followed by a tsunami and a nuclear meltdown. More than 16,000 people died in the disasters. Japanese church leaders mobilized to offer help and, in some cases, rebuilding began. But by December, the International Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies still had page after page of names of the missing. In the United States, more than 550 people were killed in tornadoes in 2011, a figure insurance companies said was more than the previous 10 years combined. Joplin, Missouri, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and Springfield, Massachusetts were among the hardest hit. Catholic Charities mobilized nationwide, using its network of local agencies to help victims. The southwestern United States suffered a serious drought, while the Northeast saw blizzards, hurricanes, tropical storms, and even an earthquake. In November, the United Nations warned that hundreds of thousands of Central Americans affected by severe flooding would need help for at least 6 months. Thais and others in Southeast Asia also suffered from flooding. All year, UN officials warned about the drought in the Horn of Africa, which left at least 10 million people in need of aid. One Vatican official warned that those who escaped the food emergency risked becoming a lost generation because of the severe lack of resources, including schools.
Looking at other news now from the Vatican, according to the Vatican, over 2.5 million people took part in papal ceremonies in 2011. The numbers were released by the prefecture of the papal household, which said that in 2011, 1.2 million people celebrated the Angelus along with the Pope. About 400,000 people visited St. Peter's Square for the Pope's weekly general audience. And for liturgical celebrations, the numbers added up to almost 850,000 people. Close to 102,000 people took part in special audiences with the Pope. The numbers actually show an increase over the past 3 years. The numbers do not take into account apostolic visits in Italy or abroad. And finally, in the news, according to British documents that have just been declassified, Pope John Paul II tried unsuccessfully to intervene to end a 1981 hunger strike by Catholic prisoners in a British jail in Northern Ireland. The documents claim the Pope sent a special envoy to persuade the prisoners to call off the hunger strike. The leader of the Provisional Irish Republican Army prisoners, Bobby Sands, said he would suspend the hunger strike in return for discussions with a British government official, 2 priests, and 3 other prisoners as witnesses. However, the British rejected the offer, claiming it was an attempt to open negotiations. The prisoners, who were in jail for paramilitary activity against British rule in Northern Ireland, had begun their hunger strike in a bid to be reclassified as political prisoners, a move Britain vehemently rejected. Sands died May 5, 1981, after 66 days on hunger strike. 10 prisoners starved themselves to death before a compromise was reached that October. The hunger strike significantly polarized tensions between the majority Protestant and minority Catholic communities in Northern Ireland. More than 100,000 Catholics attended Sands' funeral, and Sinn Féin, the political wing of the Irish Republican Army, began contesting elections for the first time. Well, that is all the information we have for you at this time. Please stay with Catholic TV for more Catholic news. Until then, I'm Kevin Nelson, and I'll see you next time on Catholic Newsbreak.